Haley. I'm a nurse here at the care center, and I am about to admit to you and whoever watches this video in the future that I tried out our incontinence products and they actually work. But it wasn't just me, it was myself and a few other employees. But we actually encouraged anybody who wanted to do it with us so we could all kind of see what it was like before we just kind of initiated this whole culture change idea, because it sounded wrong to let people just sleep in their incontinence. Like, us as caretakers felt like we needed to intervene. It was our job to care for these residents, and that we needed to check and change them every 2 hours and reposition them so they didn't get UTIs or pressure sores. And so it was really hard to think differently, think outside of what we've always been told. And so I think it was just really important that we tried them. And I know it sounds crazy, and it was. But we went in the supply closet and we fitted each other for briefs, and we took them home and we put on our pajamas that night and we all became incontinent. And it was just kind of surprising to see how well the products really do work. One of our nurses, she woke up in the morning, had a cup of coffee in her recliner, just unbothered by her incontinence. Another nurse joked that in the future she's going to take the briefs with her when she goes camping so she doesn't have to walk to the outhouse in the middle of the night, or she's going to take them next time she goes on a long road trip so she doesn't have to pull over a million times. And like, I know in the past, me personally, like in my CNA class, we opened up a brief and we poured water on it and we kind of felt it with our hands, and we could feel how cold and how long it took for the water to absorb into it. And we were always told, like, you wouldn't want that on your skin, that would be uncomfortable, so make sure that you're taking your residents to the restroom and you're helping them with their incontinence needs. So to feel kind of like firsthand that it really doesn't just sit there on the skin, you don't feel that warmth, it doesn't turn cold on your skin, you're not feeling these lumpy, clumpy briefs, they don't feel heavy, was actually really interesting. And I think just in general, like, these products advertise that they work well at night, but we never really like trusted the science behind it, and we kind of just always stuck with what we thought we knew. So I think it was kind of interesting to really get to try them out. We did have a couple companies send us different sample products to try, and I think we also underestimated like how well our pressure reducing mattresses work. So between those mattresses and the overnight briefs, like, it really was okay that the residents slept through the night, and if they were incontinent, they didn't care, then it was okay. Kara and myself, we kind of went around and we interviewed the residents and asked them about their incontinence and if they wanted woken up in the night. And honestly, they didn't really know it was an option to not be woken up in the night, which was interesting. A lot of them were just kind of completely unbothered by their incontinence and would rather just sleep if they could. And so it kind of turned into where we were more bothered by their incontinence than they were, which was interesting, but it also kind of felt like it was our job to be bothered by it so we could intervene. And we do intervene if, like, we know there's an obvious BM and whatnot, or if they're restless and like those kinds of things, but for the most part we do just let them sleep. If a problem arises, then we kind of just adjust the care plan as needed and kind of just make it more individual that way. We have had a couple residents who didn't want changed in the night and then later changed their mind, and they did want us to wake them up at 2 or 4 or whatever their preference was. And so to just take the time to actually ask was kind of a new thing for us too. We kind of started asking during care conference, and then when we do the quarterlies too, just kind of in a more private setting, because at the care conference is like families there and it's kind of an embarrassing subject, so I try to ask them kind of when it's just me and them in a quieter environment so they can kind of open up and we can kind of change their care plan to what they want it to be. I think we all thought that we would see like a huge rise in pressure and UTIs, and we didn't. The numbers just weren't there. It was really surprising to just really see like how well these products work. It kind of made me laugh because some of us told our spouses that we were going to take these briefs home and try them, and then some of us were so secretive about it and we didn't want them to know at all. Like, we put them on after the spouses went to bed, and then the spouses that did know were just like appalled that we would do something so outlandish. So it was kind of interesting to see like how secretive and almost kind of embarrassing it could be to be incontinent. So like as a nurse, it was kind of eye-opening to just kind of feel those feelings that some of the residents do feel about their incontinence too, which I think is important. But I think at the end of the day, like this whole culture change thing has just taught us to just ask the residents what they want. So when they move in now, we take the time to just ask them, like, what were you doing at home? What would you like to do here? Like, you tell us what you'd like. And it's just really interesting. And I know all these things I just said, you're completely doubting me. So I highly encourage that after you're done watching this, you go to your supply closet, you grab a brief, and you take it home tonight and you try it too, because you won't think I'm crazy anymore.
We discussed with housekeeping that we may have more wet bedding, so they provided more for our needs. But we do have good mattresses and good overnights incontinence brief, and that saved the day.